Hi, I wanted to talk a little bit about the tax return assignments. Just give you a little bit of prep and feedback. So I got the first assignment and some things I've noticed that I thought would be helpful for the assignments going forward. So for all the returns, one of the main things you need to make sure you do is you get their filing status. You need to tell me if they're single, married filing, jointly married filing, separate head of household, qualifying widow. So you have to check that box. Also, their dependents. You need to make sure you run the dependency test on all the dependents. Are they a qualifying child or are they a qualifying relative? So look at those tests, because just because I tell you that they're relatives, they might not qualify as dependents. So look through those tests and decide. And what the relationship is, if they're a child, they get the child tax credit. If they're a qualifying relative, then they'll get the credit for other dependents. So look at that. Make sure you get their name, address, and social security number correct. That's the one thing all of your clients know about. They don't know how much tax they owe or anything else on this whole form, but they do know how to spell their name and they do know their social security number and their address. So if you get that wrong, they feel like everything else is wrong on this whole tax return. So I always really look carefully at that. Okay, make sure you put in their occupation, and not where they work, but what their occupation is. All right, the other thing I wanted to point out is on the bottom second page of the 1040, look at line 11. That's where you figure out the tax. You'll need to go to the tax tables and figure out their tax on the amount that's on line 10. So whatever their taxable income is, then you figure out the tax based on what their status is. So take a look at those items. The other thing I wanted to talk about is on every other form that you will ever attach to the 1040, on the top is the name and the social security number. The IRS requires every form that is turned into them to have the taxpayer's name and social security number. So make sure you put that. The social security number, just put the first one that you listed on page 1. Also, if you're ever going to have a Schedule B, which is interest income and dividend income, you'll have their name at the top and their social security number. All your dividends get listed here, whether they're qualifying or qualified dividends or ordinary dividends, they get listed here. So you list them all here. And then you have to answer these questions down here. Foreign accounts. Do you have a foreign bank account? And I will always give you that information. Make sure you say yes or no. Also, I wanted to point out there's a lot of students that will not sure where something will go, so they'll just stick it on other deductions or other taxes. And be very careful with that. This is a resource that I'm going to tell you to go to. You don't have to read this, verbatim, but what this will tell you is line by line instructions. So this is at the website for IRS, which is www.irs.gov. You go there, you look at the 1040, and you can go line by line. It'll tell you exactly what you need to do. Also, this doesn't have all the other schedules, but if you want to know what goes on a Schedule A on the other tax line, well, you can go to the instructions for Schedule A and read what goes on that line. And if it's not listed there, then don't put it on that line. So these are a couple things I wanted to let you know what I'm looking for in the tax return assignment. Some feedback I've gotten from students through the years. I'm using a 2018 tax return form just to kind of demonstrate this, but I hope that helps to let you see what I'm going to be grading for, and it will help you do better on future assignments. Thanks.